Hey Johnny, how you doing there? Almost missed the call. How are you, sir?
What's going on?
Well, loving life. I've been sitting here going over your form entries and everything else, looking at it again before I give you a call. That's all. Trying to make sure I had all the information right. Is your evening going well?
So far, so good.
That's good. That's good. Well, I got good news for you too, man. Man, as long as these everything looked like it looked like, your asking price is not out of the ballpark whatsoever. I thought it was pretty darn fair all the way around. Now, I tell you what, before I go any further, I do have a couple of questions because I want to make sure that I'm right on some of this before I try to write off a couple offers. I don't like to just come out there and say, look, this is what we want to do. I'd like to give you several different plans. You have different things you want to do in life, and I'd like the one to choose, or for you to choose the one that you like the best. That's what I'd like to have. So, how's that sound to you?
Well, let's hear what you got to say.
Well, let's look. Okay, hang on now. Okay, now just to make sure, you did say you had an asking price of 25,000. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, all right. That's what I thought. I just want to make sure I didn't do all this based off of the wrong numbers. Okay, now business revenue 75K. Now your cash flow I saw as 37.5, which is like right at a 50% profit margin. And I know that I didn't ask anything
Yep.
about operational expenses or anything else. And the reason I didn't is I really assume you're probably very, very, very similar to my own. Which takes you from a 50% to roughly about a 30% after you're done paying gas and vehicle and everything else you've got to take care of just to operate. So
That,
that sound about right?
yeah, I think we're all in the same boat when it comes to that.
Yeah, well, I just like to make sure. I've never dealt with your type of product, man, and I really, that's something that I'm looking at too. If you sold the same thing and just had a bigger route, it would be a lot easier because I'd just say, well, sure, I'll just engulf the route. But in truth, it's like this is a whole separate endeavor, and I don't really know it 100%, so I just want to make sure that I have the information. And look, as long as the numbers are good, the information is good. So I'm just trying to make sure that I know the numbers before I go trying to be a fool. That's one thing I don't want to do. And I understand that you have things that you want to do in life. So whatever those things are, I want to make sure that you can accomplish those things. So this is how we can figure that out. So let me see the questions that I've got for you. They are very few and they should be simple. Now, just to clarify, now you have 25 accounts because I know when we talked on the phone, you said somewhere between 15 and 20, 25 maybe. I didn't know if you had done an actual count.
No, we don't. I don't have an actual count, but it's
Okay.
those that I'm considering those they actually, really good productive accounts. There's other accounts there that it's kind of seasonal. Like if I go out
Sure.
to the Concan area out around Uvalde and Garner State Park, all that area out there, I got a
Yes,
lot of accounts out there that in the summertime,
I got you. So you
right
have
down across from me. Well, a lot. I've probably got about 4 or 5 accounts out there.
Yeah, no, that makes sense
Really
to
good
me.
accounts. And like I said, that's seasonal, so I didn't really include those.
Yeah,
Uh,
actually, that was one of my questions was about the seasonality. Since I know that you deal with a different product than I do, and do you deal with like the beanies and all that kind of stuff too?
yes, I do. As a matter of fact, I've got a pretty good supply of those. So, if you take the business, that that I have goes with it.
Okay, okay. Well, I included. Well, I will include, or I'll show the adjustment on the different offers to show because I know you put in there what you have in inventory. I think you put 1,500 in there's what I looked at earlier. So we would make sure that we looked at all of
Yeah,
that and worked something out
that's
too. But no, in truth,
that's
man.
something.
I,
That's a
go ahead,
that's
sir.
a that's kind of an educated guess. I don't have an exact dollar figure on it, but I figure it's somewhere around there.
Sure.
Because I've got cap racks and stuff like that in the stores. So
Right. Yeah, that's the FF&E, the furnitures and fixtures. Generally, when it's just an owner operator thing and you've got things in place, we'll just try to include that in the asking price is what I try to do because I know that good and well that if I ever tried to remove one of those racks, it's oh no, that was my rack before you and we don't ever get it back. I already found that out through Robert. It's one of
yeah,
those things that it's just gone.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Plus, I mean, it's been in there for a few years. So the $80 to $125 that they generally cost to buy has probably been amortized or broken down and depreciated. So that's another reason we try to do that. Now, I will say, generally when we're looking at businesses to do, now, I don't know how much we talked or how much you looked into me, but we do this is kind of what I do, is help people exit businesses, and I try to purchase or at least purchase equity into a lot of little small businesses. We have about a dozen of them that we do now, and teaching people to do this in an equitable manner is kind of what we do. So that's why I keep saying, I know that you have certain things that you want to achieve and do, and really there's a lot of ways of going about this. You know, some people like these convenience store owners we talk to, and man, if you've ever done the math, each one of them bring in home SDE somewhere around 1 to 1.5 million in their pocket. The management or the operator, when they put them into place, they're looking at 150 200K in their pocket a year. Really, I mean, that's what they're looking at. So when these people have been doing it for 10 or 15 years, hell, they've kind of made their millions, you know, but they still want to sell and be profitable. Hell, their kids have moved off, done everything. They don't want to be in the convenience store, you know, business. So really what we do is try to go by a multiplier on their industry, you know, things like that. But to prove it, we generally ask for 3 years worth of tax paperwork. So, and I know that that's not even possible in this business. I know that. That's why I'm not even trying to base anything off of that. Really what I'm doing is just kind of going off of your word on what you're saying that you bring in. And so that brings me to the next step of how would I possibly do the actual legal due diligence to know that I'm not, or how to make the equitable deal. So for something like this, would you be open to, you know, 1 or 2 times a week with me actually kind of going along with you and feeling the business out, seeing what's going on over that 90-day period, just making sure that, you know, how much kind of on average we do at an account, kind of make the introductions. Would that be something you're open to?
Yeah, I'm sorry, you were breaking up a lot then. I didn't get that question.
Oh, okay. Well, what I was bringing up was the due diligence part, which is where I would kind of go over financials and everything else that's not necessarily available right now with this business. Would you be open to me possibly over the next 90 days, maybe a couple of times a week, actually going with you and, you know, kind of keeping track of the financials, seeing what goes in and comes out?
I have no problem with it.
Great. That's wonderful. Doing something like that makes it a whole lot easier for both of us to trust each other and work together. So, well, I tell you what, man, other than that, everything that you gave me seems good. I think I've got all the information. You know what? Here's one just off the top of my head. Roughly how many miles a day do you travel when you work? Now, let's say 3 days a week, roughly how many miles at a time or how many hours travel do you spend doing it?
Oh, all day. Probably 6 to 8 hours.
Okay. And that's all driving.
You know, maybe not because a lot of that involves going and picking up merchandise and stuff. So
Sure.
if I've already got my merchandise, I'll be out maybe 4 hours, something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, do you know
My
roughly the
last,
miles that you run a day?
yeah, like today, when I saw you today, uh, after I finally got out of there and got going, I was done within 2 hours.
Right.
Travel time and everything, get back.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. So, okay, what I'm trying to get at is roughly about how many miles in a day are you traveling? Like miles?
Oh, how many miles?
Yeah,
About
roughly.
200 to 300.
Okay, okay. See, that allows me
Depends on
to.
where I go.
No, that's fine. That's why I ask. I know all of yours are outliers, so I didn't know if you went like 6 hours out and stayed overnight and then took care of some. See, that's what I'm trying to figure out is what would be equitable for me. I mean, it sounds like a good deal. I mean, when I can come in and buy a $75,000 revenue business, you know, for the asking price of just under a full SDE, that's not a bad deal as long as it actually works out in real life. You know what I mean? So that's why I have no problem giving you your price. I have no problem walking through that and working out a deal with you. I just kind of got to do that little due diligence to make sure that everything washes. And it sounds like you understand that. That's wonderful. So I tell you what, since we've talked about that and now I kind of have all the information I need, let me come up with, I'm going to try to come up with 3 different offers for you. I want you to look over them in depth, okay, with your wife. Sit back and take a couple of days to look over them and then come back to me and tell me what you do like and what you don't like. And if we want to negotiate on some of those or change some things around or what have you, we can do that and we can work together. I can almost guarantee you we can make a very good equitable deal to where you get to retire and get to keep some money coming in your pocket on the regular.
let's do it. Let's see what we got.
All right, Johnny, I'm going to write that up. Give me, I tell you the truth, I'm actually really busy right now. Give me 2 days to get that to you because I can't possibly, I'm wore the fuck out, to tell you the truth. I'm going to have to take a nap this evening before I go to bed. And I don't want to put my tired mind on trying to draft up contracts on buying somebody's business. But if you'll give me 2 days, man, just don't think I forgot you. I will get with you. And I sure appreciate your time. And you know what? I appreciate the business you've built over your lifetime, too.
Okay, well, that's great.
All right. Thank you, Johnny.
Yeah,
You have a
I'll
good
be here
day.
for 12, so I'll just wait to hear from you.
Yes, sir. You have a good day, sir. Thank you.
All right, talk to you.
And that, class, is exactly how it's done. If you want to look through here at what we're doing, I entered all this information into the deal calculator. This is a vending company. You heard the whole conversation. That's how it goes, guys. It doesn't have to be anything weird. It doesn't have to be anything hard. It just has to be for real. Okay. The man gave me an asking price. I plugged it into the calculator. It's beautiful, dude. It's a 0.67 multiplier. I love that shit. As long as this number's wash, there's nothing wrong with it. Now, how did I say? Because I know good and well he's a cash business. Okay. Now, what I'm going to offer the man is his asking price. Okay. And I'm going to offer him seller financing. I'm going to give him 2,500 down and then pay him $938 a month from now for the next 2 years is what I'd like to do. Okay, 2 years, and that still gives me a cash flow of $1,146. That's not a lot. Okay, it's an extra $1,100 on top of what we're making already. And then after 2 years, it's an extra $2,000 a month. Isn't that beautiful? An extra $2,000 a month, just not doing anything extra. It's just got this little route. $2,000 a month gives the opportunity to put somebody else to work. Okay, let them go make theirs because now you've expanded your market. You've expanded. I'm going to come back to you now. You've expanded your product line. You've expanded the market. You've gone through and expanded the territory, right? So just by making this small little acquisition, it's going to cost less than $1,000 a month to take over, guys. I mean, look at this. We're legitimately talking about paying the man $2,000, taking over a $75,000 a year revenue business, knowing that it's going to immediately triple because we're combining it with our own, and our own is already triple his. Okay, there's potential here. This is called a roll up, is what that is. All right, this is the roll up. So you guys stick around. You're going to learn more about it. I hope you've enjoyed this particular live session. I hope it was informative. And if you have any questions, be sure to send a message in whatever way I give you here in the post.